Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Danny Meese. He's the founder of Ville app and we'll talk about his mission to solve the modern loneliness epidemic by using smart tech to help us make friends and build real life community in this digital age. Welcome to the show, Danny.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
You're welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Danny. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about your app and we'll talk about solving loneliness with tech. But before that, let's talk a bit about your journey, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Yeah, so I initially got into apps when they were first a thing. Back then, I was more of a designer. So I was designing user interfaces and icons for a lot of the different apps that were coming out during the app bubble. I just was in chat rooms with a lot of these app founders at early stages, and that was kind of my bread and butter in terms of where I met a lot of other people passionate about building things like that. So a lot of my field has been design and being a creative director for global brands and things like that. But throughout the years, I built, whether it was a little game or a little tool here and there, I built a lot of different tools. And this is, Ville is the first time I actually committed to building an entire platform. And basically it was a culmination of all that experience. And but I'm also kind of a jack of all trades. I mean, I've done everything from, I used to cook in restaurants, I've started and closed businesses. I've done a lot of, design and creative direction across like e-commerce brands too. So I have a pretty chaotic CV, but Ville is where I'm focusing all of that into help people connect.
Absolutely, absolutely, Danny. So to understand this better, why another app? Means people are scared of apps. There are too many of them. Every day they are coming. Why why one more app? Especially to you to talk about loneliness, about technology, which is already too much in today's time.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same. There's always new apps coming out, always new things saying this is the hot new thing. Bring your attention here. What makes Ville different is it's competing with social media. It's not just another event app. It's actually meeting people where they're at in terms of the latest technology to get us to pull our attention to a platform where we're finding new events through video clips and the map. I mean, you see events near you in the map easily, and then there's the video clip that's very familiar, like you would see in a lot of social media platforms, but it has all the details and easily shareable event details that you can share with friends and community. So essentially what it's doing is allowing you to, for example, there are people who want to delete Instagram, and sometimes they do, and then they might re-download it because someone was pressuring them like, hey, did you see that message I sent you on Instagram, or I want to message you on Instagram, or whatever. So it's, first of all, replacing that because it also has a robust group chat. So you can chat with people without giving them your phone number. And you can also throw them into a group chat to share events and things like that. So for one, it's handling that, which is a huge portion of people who try to delete Instagram because they're tired of wasting all their time, consuming content. But they end up downloading again because of peer pressure. So the goal is to help there. And in fact, our perfect user is someone who is already deleting a lot of it, social media, and they're just looking for another way to get back out there again and not get looped into some sort of endless stream of consuming content.
Absolutely. A lot of the young generation is pushing, talking about real connections rather than more apps and getting into that scheme of things. You are a very young man. How do you look at this aspect of real social connections vis-a-vis the social connections that you are trying to create through your app? Help us understand from this point of view as a creator of this app, as a whether it's a business for you, it's a mission for you, it's a social work for you, but also as a young person who wants to have more experience of the real life.
Yeah, thank you. I guess my skincare is working. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's definitely a loneliness epidemic, as we both know. I was raised around technology. It wasn't as big of a, it wasn't essential. Like I wasn't constantly on a phone or the internet until teen years. And even then, it was a lot of times, you leave your phone or you had like the landline. And I only got a cell phone when I was, I think, 15. But a lot of the younger crowd now, their whole existence has been digital first. Like they had a device of some kind that was they were plugged into from a very young age. And I already got a bit of this, which is this idea that we kind of lost because of the convenience technology. We lost that art of maybe you're at a coffee shop or at the park, and because you're in close proximity to someone, you just say, "How's your day? How about this weather?" This is, as you know, how regular people used to interact just before technology. This was, the people near you. This is how you interact. There's some places where it's a little bit better, like where I'm from in Tennessee. A lot of times people still do a lot of that. But in much of the US, and now it's almost completely gone, this idea of just a base level interaction with strangers that are in the same town as you. But that's essentially what the problem is. We easily not only have this excuse to stare at something instead of interacting with people, but a lot of us were raised with that. So it's like actually that was what was taught before those basic level interactions. So the way that Ville changes that is it's just extremely easy to use tool, and that's important. So it's super easy to share events, super easy to find people that went to an event that you went to as well, so that you can connect with them and so that you can invite each other to future events. But every single feature in Ville, I don't add it unless it suits the need of this specific purpose, pushing people to connect in real life. So if the feature does not push people to connect in real life, then I do not add the feature to Ville. So there's a lot of cool things that users have either asked for me to add, or I've thought, oh, that would be cool to add. But I have not added a single feature that doesn't help push people to connect in real life. So that's really the focus. It's like, how much can we use technology to push people to connect in real life without it becoming an excuse or a hindrance to that connection?
Absolutely, Danny. So, how much of this app is a business for you, or is it only business, or is it a mission? Is it social work? How would you like to put it to the world?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's 100% free. So to some extent, that takes some degree of believing in what it's about, right? Because there's certainly no sort of short-term, even monetization possibility there. And my whole mission is to make it sustainable for everywhere in a way that I don't have to even monetize the users for it to work. So we already have a lot of communities in Colorado and some in Nashville and a few other areas that are using the app to, have their small gatherings, meeting up at like the park to run, or, some people are doing like knitting at coffee shops and things like that, or yoga. There's a lot of things like that. And the idea is it's not a B2B platform. And what I've noticed with a lot of the event platforms, they inevitably become B2B. I suspect it's due to some sort of, they took on a certain amount of VC and now they go, okay, we need to, turn a profit. How do we do that? Let's charge to even use the experience. So some of the event apps, you can't even really fully use it as a host to host your own events unless you pay what only a business would be willing to pay. Um, Regular people don't really go to event apps to gather. It's more businesses. So the goal with Ville is to equip people to create these gatherings and communities, um, really easily and to help them connect again. So that's really the mission, is to help people connect again and to learn from science, like the mere exposure effect, where, we just are expose ourselves to things, people, and ideas, and we trust them more. And this is like kind of that base side of our almost animalistic side of our brain. Like we can't really control it. That's how we grow to trust something. We just are around it a lot. We're like, yeah, I see you. We know each other. And so the focus of Ville is, most of the events are repeated events, like every Wednesday or every Sunday, and the format really lends itself well to setting those repeated events and encouraging people to attend and host repeated events. For example, when you add a repeated event to your calendar, it adds for the next 3 months all of those occurrences. So it really nudges you. Okay, you said you wanted to go. It looks like you missed last time. You just got in your car. Your phone's going to remind you 20 minutes to that event because you've added it to your calendar. So that's really the focus, is using technology, knowing what we know from science about how people actually build community, to really push them to do it. So that's really the mission. Is Ville, as you probably know, is the French word for, I think it's pronounced V in French, but it's also used in a lot of city names like Nashville and things like that, but essentially means town. So it's a shorthand for community. So the idea is that it's community in the modern era, meaning like we use technology to help us do it, but we never want technology to take away from the amount that we're connecting with other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. What is your business model then, Danny? It means, where do you make money from? Will it survive like that? What's the adoption rate?
hmm Yeah, so there's currently it makes no money currently. The goal was to basically create something that could be sustainable for a long period of time and help people connect. And then I'll go into some of the ways that there's monetization strategy there. But essentially, I just use a really good video optimization and compression, so that all the videos that are used for the events, they're not very large files. They're smaller than most photos that someone would text to you. So that's the first thing. A lot of apps might think to go, super high res, super large, super big files, and then they kind of have this big expense per user. So they have to struggle to try to figure out a way to make money off of it, because that they're dealing with that. So we're definitely eating the server costs right now, which are, not as significant as you might think, um, because of that compression algorithm. It's not that bad, and that was intentional from the very beginning. In terms of monetization, we're actually about to launch something called local gifts, which is a way of interacting with local businesses where you actually receive local gifts from them. So it could be like a free class at a dance studio, things like that. And those are essentially how we promote local businesses. So we're about to launch that soon. That's the main one. But then also, believe it or not, we're working on parallel products. One is, I'm really excited about one of them that'll essentially be a physical product that'll help people connect once they're at an event. And then we're actually playing around in the fragrance space as well, looking at how scientifically proven compounds and extremely pleasing scent profiles we can help utilize that in the mission to help people connect in real life.
Absolutely. So, who is this app for? Is it for people who are lonely, or is it for everyone?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the main benefit it has to an everyday person that is either one of those camps. I'll be honest, I oscillate between the two. There might be a weekend where I feel super lonely the entire weekend, right? And that might be a weekend I don't actually want to leave the house too. Sometimes that's one and the same, right? Um, but to be honest, probably the most active users are very extroverted. They already are someone who looks for something to do, and it's just a really great tool to find those places and to connect with a lot of people and to meet new people and find a new community. Um, but the great thing for someone who's not as social usually, and maybe when they do struggle with loneliness, they don't have the tools or habits to pick themselves up out of that, then there's really this emphasis on variety of events. So for example, there's low sensory events, things where someone might not want to be in a loud venue. So that's where things like maybe a language exchange in a coffee shop, or like a crochet meetup at a coffee shop come up. Things like that are really great experiences so basically the goal from the beginning was have events that are offer that wide range of experience for the person who maybe isn't as much of a social butterfly, and for the person who's just ready to look for a large variety of things and meet a lot of different people.
Right. How do you differentiate or clarify if somebody is confused that this is not a app for therapy or mental health or anything like that, but purely from a different point of view? How do you explain to them what exactly it is?
Yeah, so I think the thing that resonates with people now, I haven't gotten that yet. I've never heard someone think it was like a therapy app or something, but I do use a lot of these cues. Like if you go to the main website, Ville.social, you'll see, warning, may cure social media addiction. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but there's this idea of this awareness of a problem we have collectively as a society. I mean, one ad I just had on TikTok was it's like a doom scrolling infomercial kind of meme ad. So it's kind of making fun of doom scrolling and like, try doom scrolling today. It's free, it's easy, that sort of thing. Because that audience really resonates with that everyone knows they're swiping too much and just consuming and not experiencing real life. So a lot of it's just bringing attention to that and saying, here's a tool that enables you to step outside of that. So it's a really empowering tool to help you be less lonely, to help you connect with more. That's just the essence of what it is. It's everything about it is to push you to be in a community, to be with people.
Absolutely. So should we understand that the next year will be more about, the good AI versus the not so good AI, and that good AI will be the thing that is going to be the future?
Yeah, I think it's the same as any revolution. I mean, it's the same with the internet. I mean, when the internet started getting widely adopted, there's a lot of things that plenty of people didn't like, where the majority of a lot of people were using the internet for this or that, and maybe there weren't as many healthy habits compared to what they had had before internet. But there's also a degree of it which is, you know, what do I call it? Like kind of a collective uncomfortable feeling about what the changes are ahead. And I think that more than any specific fear is what is happening. Looking at everything rapidly changing, many people feel like I have no idea how to be prepared for the future. And so the answer I take with Ville is, well, we have technology and everyone's using it. So let's choose to use technologies that help us go back to what it means to be human, instead of opting for convenient technologies. Now, Ville's very convenient. I mean, I designed it to be super easy to use, but it does not offer you any convenience for a simple pleasure that you could do instead of interacting with other humans. So, there's nothing in it that's like, oh, here's a little mini game that you can play instead of connecting with people, or not. Like, so that's what I think people are finding, is that they can use these new technologies that are getting even better and better, because we can rapidly improve technology these days. It's insane how fast we can iterate. Just choose the ones that have the goal of and the function of improving your life and making you healthier.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so much to learn about technology, especially the good technology. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about your app. learn more about you, and also perhaps want to be investors in your app? What's the best way for them to do so?
Well, we're not accepting VC right now, but I would say check out the app. It's free. We have a large community of over 20,000 people in Colorado, and now we're expanding recently into Miami, Chicago, and Nashville. So especially if you're one of those places, you'll be able to open Ville up for free on your iPhone or Android and view events. So that's what I would encourage people to do. If they do have any questions or issues, of course, it's easy to reach us. We're very responsive in the report a problem. Through that experience, it's very easy to reach us. So that's the easiest way to do it.
Absolutely. What about other parts of the world, Danny?
Yeah, so you can use it right now in many countries. I don't remember the exact number, but it's definitely available in many countries around the world. The best way to use Ville right now in a country that doesn't have many events, like for example, Korea had some events and things like that, but you might open it up and there might not be a lot there yet because we are very local focused. So right now we're growing within the US, but it's rapidly growing. You can use it really easily and I'm glad you asked that because in 2.0 that just launched, you can use it really well for local gatherings. Like let's say you have a potluck or you just have like some people over for dinner. You can use the chip in feature as a host and it easily lets you add, I need 5 main dishes. I need 2 folding chairs. I need 4 different types of drinks. And then with just a couple taps, attendees can easily volunteer for those items. And then you also can share the link to your private event in a way that doesn't show it to anyone on the platform other than the people you share the link with. So it's perfect actually across the globe for the countries that it's operating in for those intimate gatherings between community.
Wonderful. With this, it's set up on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you. It's been great.